Why is everyone struggling to get a product manager job right now? Do we even need product managers anymore? And what happened to this once highly sought after job? My name is Alex. I'm a tech product manager and product management content creator. And if you're trying to become a product manager today or trying to get back into product management, you're probably hitting a lot of roadblocks. So let's talk about what's going on in product management hiring and why. And I'll share some recommendations at the end of the video of what I think you should do today to get a product management job. But before we can go into why no one is getting hired today, we need to do a history lesson. Contrary to popular belief, product management is a discipline that is almost 100 years old. In 1931, Neil McElroy from Procter & Gamble sat down at his desk and wrote a 3-page memo describing this new type of job called the brand man, someone who would track sales, market a product, and follow the product development life cycle. This 3-page memo about the brand man is considered the origin story of product management. Let's hit the fast forward button and go to the 90s, where we were going through a technological revolution. Accessibility of the internet, personal gaming consoles, email, an absolutely revolutionary moment. Not only was this a moment for the creation of new products, but for the discipline of product management. See, up until this point, companies had primarily relied on what's called the waterfall methodology of product development. The waterfall methodology is a linear and sequential approach to product development. And up until the 90s and even the 2000s, this totally made sense. To get the newest version of Word, we would go to our local Circuit City, buy the CD-ROM, and install it on our computer. And the waterfall methodology was great for these products that came out once a year, once every couple years. But in the 90s, we also have visionaries who introduced this revolutionary concept of Scrum. Introduced in 1995, Scrum was a new way to develop products. Scrum is a way to get product work done in small increments, continuously learning from what you're observing from your customers, which is in stark contrast to the waterfall methodology where you were full steam ahead until that thing got released. The 90s were a great decade for people who were on the forefront of technology. But as we move into the 2000s, we become increasingly more technology dependent. In the 2000s, the world continues to be more software driven. It is becoming harder and harder to escape having some form of technology associated with your life. And product managers continue carving out their space in the world. In 2002, following the recovery of the dot-com bubble, Google launches the first ever associate product management program, not only signaling a clear need for product managers across the board, but specifically to train up early career professionals as product managers. Alongside our increasing dependency on technology and companies clearly signaling, hey, we need to train up product managers, there's another piece of product history that you need to know. The Agile Manifesto was introduced in 2002 and is just 68 words. It is the vision statement for the methodology of Scrum and the idealized version of product development. No surprise, the 2000s are yet again another decade of technological advancement, literally going from using Nokia phones to having a computer in every single pocket. And with new technologies comes new opportunities for building products. Now we get to the 2010s, which, get this, like the 90s, like the aughts, we have an increasing dependency on technology and yet more rapid technological improvements. By the end of the decade, LinkedIn named product management as one of the most promising careers for young professionals moving into the next decade, with a 29% year-over-year growth in job listings for product managers. And the 2010s saw technology being infused into all types of industries: finance, insurance, healthcare. So by the end of the 2010s, there was this really popular job that existed, required minimal technical and no coding experience, and had compensation packages that rivaled their technical counterparts. So what happened? As we all know, in March 2020, we became dependent on technology to replace multiple facets of our lives: work, shopping, transportation. And with that, tech giants like Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, Apple saw huge upticks in their product usage. Between March 2020 and June 2020, Amazon's sales soared 40% in 3 months. What's important to note here is that this rapid growth that all these companies were seeing was known as a pull forward. There was concentrated demand for these products, goods, and services earlier on in the pandemic, leading to a drop-off or flattening in growth after the economy and society started to stabilize after the pandemic. But in the moment, these companies and many others needed to keep up with product demand in order to keep making money. Hence the need to hire all roles, including product managers. So companies started hiring like crazy in 2020. Amazon and Meta doubled their employees. Microsoft, Apple, and Alphabet each added 100,000 jobs respectively. And outside of all of that, the Fed was cutting interest rates and performing quantitative easing, trying to help the market recover after deep uncertainty in March 2020. After that initial crash in March 2020, the market saw an insane bounce back. Reduced interest rates, quantitative easing, and this pull forward effect led to the Wild West of tech. And now there were tons of people who had learned about this great job of product management, saw product management jobs being posted like crazy, and seized the opportunity. But with every economic pull forward, there is a pullback. And we started seeing that in 2023. The pullback in this case means a contraction of technology roles and, more importantly, layoffs. In 2023, we saw the largest tech layoffs since the dot-com bubble. Over 260,000 people were laid off from 1,200 companies. And you probably saw the news reports seeing Apple, Meta, Microsoft all laying off employees. On top of all of that, Brian Chesky, the Airbnb CEO, came out last year and said, "We got rid of product managers," leading to increased uncertainty of whether product management should even be its own role within companies. But even with those layoffs, people still want to become product managers. Product management is still a very lucrative and well-respected job. At the start of 2024, LinkedIn said that over 1 million people had the title product management listed on their profile, up from 700,000 people in 2023. And I've seen it in the comments of the content I make. Product management is still a very well-respected and lucrative role. But now the people who are new to the product management scene are competing with way more qualified and skilled people. All of this together is leading to an incredibly lopsided supply and demand situation, which is definitely daunting to say the least. So what are we supposed to do now? Here are my recommendations. If you have product management experience, this is the time to niche down. Prior to this contraction of the tech industry, companies were looking for generalists. Companies wanted product managers who had a plethora of skills, were able to adapt to any industry or domain, and maybe were able to bring a fresh viewpoint to this company. But now we're seeing a shift to product management specialists. Companies looking for people with domain or industry experience to bring into their next product management role, with the idea of getting closer to the customer a little bit more easily. So for people with product management experience, take your previous experience and niche it down to as specific as you can get. Figure out what you've specialized in and find jobs that way. Now, if you are someone who has no product experience and are trying to become a net new product manager, first see if you can transfer internally. It's a lot easier to move within a company into a different type of role than it is to apply externally. If not, you need to figure out a way to get as close to a product management team as possible. Overall, the most important thing is to keep learning. And if you want resources to continue learning in product management, I have a Google Sheet linked down below. Overall, the tech industry is expected to get better in the next year or two, so I'm optimistic that the hiring landscape will get better soon. But for now, we'll just have to wait it out a little bit longer.